The secret power of baking soda in your garden, natural pest and fungus control. Hello, fellow plant lovers. Welcome back to Earthly Delights, your go-to place for all things green, vibrant, and thriving. If you've ever dreamed of a lush, flourishing indoor garden or a backyard filled with healthy, thriving plants, then you're in the right place. Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself struggling with yellowing leaves, stubborn fungal infections, or garden pests that just won't quit? Maybe you've spent hours searching for the perfect organic solution, only to be overwhelmed by expensive products and complicated treatments. Well, what if I told you that the answer to many of your gardening problems is already sitting in your kitchen pantry? That's right. Today, we're uncovering one of the best-kept secrets in gardening: baking soda. This simple, budget-friendly ingredient has the power to revolutionize the way you care for your plants. Whether you're a seasoned gardener, a houseplant enthusiast, or just starting your journey with greenery, this one tip can make all the difference. In this video, we're going to explore how baking soda can help you tackle fungal diseases, ward off pests, balance soil pH, and even make your fruits sweeter. You'll learn practical, step-by-step methods to use this household staple effectively, without harming your plants or the environment. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at baking soda the same way again. So, if you're ready to unlock the secret powers of this humble white powder, make sure to stick around. And before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the best tips and tricks for keeping your garden and indoor plants thriving. Now, let's get started. What makes baking soda so special? Now that we've set the stage, let's talk about why baking soda is such a game changer for your garden. If you're someone who loves caring for your plants, whether it's a cozy indoor jungle, a thriving backyard vegetable patch, or even just a few potted herbs on your balcony, you know that keeping plants healthy isn't always easy. Pests, diseases, and soil imbalances can turn your gardening dreams into a frustrating challenge. But what if I told you that one simple ingredient could help solve many of these problems? Baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, might look like nothing more than a white powder, but don't let its simplicity fool you. This household staple has unique chemical properties that make it an incredible tool for plant care. It works by altering the pH balance on the surface of plants and in the soil, creating an environment where fungi and certain pests struggle to survive. And the best part? It's completely natural, affordable, and easy to use. No fancy equipment or expensive treatments required. Think about it. Many store-bought garden solutions are filled with harsh chemicals that not only harm the environment but can also affect the health of your pets, kids, and even the beneficial insects that keep your garden balanced. With baking soda, you have a safe, eco-friendly alternative that's gentle on plants but tough on problems. And let's not forget its versatility. Whether you need to treat a stubborn fungal infection, deter harmful insects, or fine-tune your soil's pH levels, baking soda can be your secret weapon. But don't just take my word for it. Stick with me as we break down the exact methods you can use to unlock its full potential. Up next, we're diving into one of the biggest challenges gardeners face: fungal diseases. Stay with me, because this is where things get really interesting. Baking soda as a natural fungicide. If you've ever struggled with fungal diseases in your garden, you know how frustrating they can be. One day, your plants look lush and green, and the next, you start noticing powdery white spots on the leaves or dark patches creeping up the stems. It's a gardener's nightmare. But don't worry, baking soda might just be the simple, natural solution you've been looking for. Fungal infections, like powdery mildew, black spot on roses, and early blight on tomatoes, can spread quickly, weakening plants and reducing yields. Many gardeners turn to chemical fungicides, but these can be expensive, harmful to the environment, and sometimes even too harsh for delicate plants. That's where baking soda comes in. So, how does it work? Baking soda changes the pH balance on the surface of leaves, making it harder for fungi to thrive. Most fungal spores need an acidic environment to grow. And when you introduce baking soda, you create conditions that disrupt their ability to spread. Think of it like creating a protective barrier, one that's completely natural and safe for your garden. I know what you're thinking. That sounds great. But how do I actually use it? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Here's a simple but effective homemade fungicide recipe that you can whip up in minutes. Take 1 teaspoon of baking soda, mix it with half a teaspoon of liquid soap or horticultural oil, and add it to 1 gallon of water. Stir it well until everything is fully dissolved. Once your mixture is ready, pour it into a spray bottle and apply it evenly to the affected plants. Be sure to coat both the tops and undersides of the leaves, because that's where fungal spores like to hide. For the best results, reapply this solution every 7 to 10 days or after heavy rain. If you're dealing with an active infection, you might need to spray a little more frequently in the beginning, but you should start seeing improvement in just a few weeks. And if your plants are still healthy but prone to fungal problems, applying this mixture preventatively can help keep diseases at bay. Now, I know what some of you might be wondering. Will this harm my plants? The key is moderation. Baking soda is effective, but too much of it can cause sodium buildup in the soil, which isn't good for plant roots. That's why it's important to follow the right proportions and not overuse it. So, the next time you spot those frustrating white patches or dark spots on your leaves, don't panic. Reach for your kitchen cabinet, mix up this simple spray, and watch your plants bounce back. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Baking soda has even more tricks up its sleeve. Up next, we're tackling another major gardening headache: pests. Stick around, because you won't want to miss this. Baking soda for natural pest control. If you've ever walked into your garden, excited to check on your plants, only to find them riddled with holes, discolored leaves, or covered in tiny crawling invaders, you're not alone. Pests are one of the biggest challenges for gardeners, whether you're tending to houseplants, balcony herbs, or a full-scale backyard oasis. But here's the good news. You don't have to resort to harsh chemical pesticides to protect your plants. Once again, baking soda comes to the rescue. Let's talk about why pests love attacking plants in the first place. Whether it's aphids sucking the sap from your leaves, cabbage worms munching through your vegetables, or ants farming colonies of scale insects, these tiny invaders are constantly looking for their next meal. But did you know that baking soda can actually create an unwelcoming environment for these pests without harming your plants? The secret lies in how baking soda affects insects. When dissolved in water and applied to leaves, it disrupts the delicate balance that many pests rely on to thrive. It also alters the pH of the leaf surface, making it less appealing to bugs like aphids and spider mites. Some pests, like slugs, can even be deterred by a simple dry dusting of baking soda around the base of your plants. So, how do you use it? It's easy. For a basic insect repellent spray, mix 1 teaspoon of baking soda with 1 quart of water, then add a few drops of liquid soap. If you want to make the solution even stronger, you can include 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil to help the mixture stick to the leaves. Once it's ready, pour it into a spray bottle and apply it evenly to your plants, focusing on the undersides of the leaves where pests tend to hide. For best results, reapply every 7 to 10 days or after heavy rain. This spray won't harm beneficial insects like ladybugs and bees, but it will keep those annoying, leaf-destroying pests at bay. And if you're dealing with a serious infestation, you can use it more frequently until the problem is under control. But here's an extra tip: if you're battling slugs and snails, sprinkle a thin line of dry baking soda around the perimeter of your garden beds or plant pots. These slimy critters hate crossing over it, and it works as a natural barrier to keep them away. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, will baking soda completely eliminate pests? The answer is, it's a fantastic deterrent, but like all organic solutions, it works best as part of a larger strategy. Combining baking soda sprays with other natural methods, like companion planting and encouraging beneficial insects, will give you the best results. So, if you're tired of battling pests the hard way, try this simple, eco-friendly approach. Not only is it effective, but it's also safe for your family, pets, and the environment. And the best part? It costs just pennies compared to expensive pesticides. Now that we've tackled pests, it's time to talk about something just as important: soil health. Because no matter how much you fight off fungi and insects, your plants will never truly thrive if the foundation beneath them isn't right. Up next, we'll explore how baking soda can help balance your soil's pH and create the perfect environment for healthy, happy plants. Stick around, you won't want to miss this. Balancing soil pH with baking soda. We've talked about pests. We've tackled fungal diseases. But there's something even more fundamental that often gets overlooked: soil health. Because let's be honest, no matter how much effort you put into watering, fertilizing, and pruning, if your soil isn't balanced, your plants will always struggle. So here's the question. Have you ever noticed that some of your plants just don't seem to thrive, no matter what you do? Maybe they're growing slower than expected, their leaves are turning yellow, or they just don't seem as vibrant as they should be. The problem might not be your care, it could be your soil's pH level. Soil pH determines how well your plants absorb nutrients. If the pH is too acidic or too alkaline, even the best fertilizers won't be effective because the roots simply can't take in what they need. And here's where baking soda comes in. Baking soda is a fantastic tool for both testing and adjusting soil pH. If your soil is too acidic, adding a little baking soda can help neutralize it, creating a healthier environment for your plants to grow. And the best part? You don't need fancy soil testing kits to get a basic idea of your soil's acidity. You can do a quick DIY test right at home. Here's how. Take a small sample of soil from your garden and mix it with a little distilled water in a cup. Then, add half a teaspoon of baking soda and watch closely. If you see bubbling or fizzing, that means your soil is acidic. It's a quick and simple way to check if your plants might be struggling due to pH imbalance. And if you do find that your soil is too acidic, don't worry, it's an easy fix. Just sprinkle 1 tablespoon of baking soda per square foot of soil and gently work it into the top layer. Over time, this will help bring your soil closer to a neutral level, allowing your plants to absorb nutrients more efficiently. But remember, moderation is key. You don't want to overdo it, because too much sodium can have the opposite effect. Now, some of you might be wondering, is baking soda the right solution for every plant? Not necessarily. Some plants, like blueberries, azaleas, and hydrangeas, actually prefer acidic soil. But for most vegetables, herbs, and flowering plants, keeping the pH in a balanced range is essential for strong roots, healthy leaves, and vibrant blooms. Think of it this way. When your soil is balanced, your plants can take in all the nutrients they need to grow faster, healthier, and more resilient. It's like giving them the perfect foundation to thrive. And here's an extra tip. If you're growing tomatoes and want them to be extra sweet, a little baking soda in the soil can actually reduce acidity and enhance their natural flavor. Imagine biting into a homegrown tomato that's bursting with sweetness, all thanks to a simple trick from your kitchen. So now that we've got our soil pH in check, it's time to move on to something even more exciting, using baking soda to boost plant growth and productivity. Because what's better than healthy plants? Plants that give you bigger harvests, more flowers, and stronger, greener leaves. Stick with me, because this next part is where the real magic happens. Boosting plant growth and enhancing fruit sweetness with baking soda. Now that we've tackled soil health, let's talk about something that every gardener dreams of: faster growth, healthier plants, and sweeter, more flavorful harvests. Because let's be honest, whether you're growing flowers, vegetables, or herbs, the ultimate goal is to see them flourish. You've probably heard about all kinds of fertilizers, compost mixtures, and nutrient-boosting tricks. But what if I told you that baking soda, something you already have in your kitchen, could give your plants the extra push they need? Let's start with one of the most exciting benefits: making your homegrown fruits taste even better. Have you ever noticed that some store-bought tomatoes taste bland compared to the ones grown in a backyard garden? A big reason for this is the soil's acidity. Tomatoes, for example, thrive in slightly less acidic soil, and a small sprinkle of baking soda around the base of your plants can gently neutralize excess acidity, leading to fruit that is sweeter and more flavorful. And it's not just tomatoes. This trick works for a variety of fruits, including strawberries and melons. By creating a better pH balance in the soil, baking soda helps plants focus their energy on producing high-quality fruit instead of struggling to absorb nutrients. But that's just one part of the story. Baking soda can also play a role in overall plant health and growth. When used correctly, it can help strengthen plant stems, reduce stress from environmental factors, and even improve nutrient absorption. Some gardeners even swear by using a light baking soda foliar spray, a diluted solution sprayed directly on leaves, to encourage greener, more vibrant foliage. If you want to give this method a try, here's how you do it. Mix 1 teaspoon of baking soda per gallon of water and spray lightly over your plants. This is especially useful for vegetable gardens, houseplants, and flowering plants that need a little extra care. Just be careful not to overapply. Once every 2 weeks is more than enough to see results. And here's a fun fact: baking soda can even help prevent calcium deficiencies, which are responsible for conditions like blossom end rot in tomatoes and peppers. By keeping the pH balanced and reducing excess soil acidity, you're setting your plants up for stronger, healthier growth from the roots up. So let's take a step back and think about what we've covered so far. Baking soda isn't just for cleaning your kitchen or deodorizing your fridge. It's a powerful, multi-purpose gardening tool that can help with everything from fighting fungi to improving soil conditions, repelling pests, and even enhancing the flavor of your crops. And the best part? It's safe, affordable, and incredibly easy to use. But don't just take my word for it. Up next, I'm going to share some real-life gardening success stories, proving that this simple trick can truly make a difference. Because if baking soda has already helped so many gardeners transform their plants, imagine what it could do for yours. Stay with me. You won't want to miss this. Real-life success stories. How gardeners are using baking soda to transform their plants. So far, we've talked about the science behind baking soda, its ability to fight off fungi, deter pests, balance soil pH, and even boost plant growth. But I know some of you might still be thinking, does this actually work in real gardens? Well, let me share some real-life success stories that prove just how powerful this simple ingredient can be. Let's start with one of the most common struggles among gardeners, fungal infections. Last summer, a friend of mine, Sarah, was devastated when her beloved tomato plants started showing signs of early blight. The lower leaves developed dark spots, and the infection was quickly spreading. She tried everything, cutting off the affected leaves, improving airflow, even using organic fungicides, but nothing seemed to stop it. That's when she decided to give baking soda a try. She mixed 1 teaspoon of baking soda with a gallon of water and a little horticultural oil, then sprayed her plants once a week. Within a few weeks, she started seeing a remarkable difference. The infection stopped spreading, her tomato plants bounced back, and she ended up with one of her best harvests ever. It was a complete turnaround, all thanks to a simple pantry staple. And it's not just tomatoes that benefit from baking soda. Kevin, a home gardener with a passion for roses, used to struggle with black spot disease, a common fungal problem that turns rose leaves yellow and causes them to drop prematurely. He had tried multiple treatments, but nothing seemed to fully solve the problem. Then, he heard about the baking soda trick and decided to test it out. He made a spray using 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a drop of liquid soap, and a quart of water, applying it to his rose bushes every 10 days. The result? His roses thrived. The black spots faded, new growth was healthy, and for the first time in years, his garden was filled with lush, vibrant blooms that lasted all season long. But baking soda isn't just useful for plant diseases, it can also be a game-changer for soil health. Take Lisa, for example, a balcony gardener who struggled with acidic soil in her raised beds. Her basil, lettuce, and peppers just weren't growing as they should, and she couldn't figure out why. After doing a simple baking soda soil test, she discovered that her soil was too acidic, preventing her plants from absorbing essential nutrients. Instead of buying expensive soil amendments, she lightly sprinkled baking soda into the top layer of soil, mixed it in, and watered as usual. Within a few weeks, she started noticing stronger, greener plants. And her basil, once struggling, became one of the most productive plants in her garden. These stories aren't just lucky coincidences. They show how small, natural changes can make a big impact in any garden. Baking soda is affordable, easy to use, and safe for both plants and the environment. And the best part? You don't have to be an expert gardener to try it. So now that we've seen how real people are using baking soda to rescue, revive, and rejuvenate their plants, let's talk about how to use it safely and effectively. Because while this ingredient is a powerful tool, like any gardening technique, there are some important do's and don'ts to keep in mind. Up next, we'll cover expert-backed tips to make sure you get the best results without any unwanted side effects. Stay with me, because this is the part that will take your gardening skills to the next level. Expert tips: how to use baking soda safely and effectively in your garden. By now, you've seen just how powerful baking soda can be in transforming your garden. It fights off fungal diseases, deters pests, balances soil pH, and even enhances the sweetness of your homegrown fruits. But before you rush off to sprinkle it everywhere, let's take a step back and talk about how to use it correctly. Because while baking soda is an incredible tool, using too much or applying it incorrectly can do more harm than good. One of the most important things to remember is moderation. Baking soda works because it alters the environment around your plants, but if you overuse it, you risk buildup of sodium in the soil, which can make it harder for plants to absorb water and nutrients. That's why experts recommend applying baking soda in small amounts and only when necessary. Timing is also key. If you're using baking soda as a fungicide spray, make sure to apply it early in the morning or late in the afternoon. Spraying during the heat of the day, especially in direct sunlight, can cause leaf burn, something no gardener wants to deal with. A light, even mist on both the tops and undersides of leaves is all you need. And speaking of application, always test before treating. Not all plants react the same way to baking soda, and some may be more sensitive than others. If you're trying a baking soda spray for the first time, apply it to a small section of one plant first. Wait 24 hours and check for any signs of stress or damage before using it on the rest of your garden. For those using baking soda to adjust soil pH, the key is to start small. Add just a tablespoon per square foot of soil and mix it in gently, then wait a few weeks before testing again. It's always easier to add more later than to try and fix an overcorrection. Experts also suggest rotating treatments rather than relying on baking soda alone. For example, if you're using it as a fungicide, switch things up every few weeks by alternating with neem oil or diluted apple cider vinegar. This prevents any one method from becoming less effective over time. And here's something most people don't think about: where your baking soda comes from. While most store-bought baking soda is perfectly fine for gardening use, some brands may include additives or anti-caking agents that aren't ideal for plants. If you want to be extra cautious, look for pure baking soda without any additional ingredients. Now, you might be wondering, what about edible plants? Can you use baking soda on fruits and vegetables? The answer is yes, but with care. If you're spraying edible plants, it's best to do so early in the growing season before fruits develop. As you get closer to harvest time, switch to a simple water rinse or use food-safe alternatives to ensure no residue remains. So, let's recap. Use in moderation, spray at the right time, test before applying, adjust soil pH gradually, rotate treatments, and choose the right type of baking soda. Follow these expert-backed tips, and you'll unlock the full potential of this amazing natural gardening tool without any of the downsides. Now that you know exactly how to use baking soda safely and effectively, it's time for the final piece of the puzzle. In the next section, we'll bring everything together and talk about why making small, natural changes in your garden can lead to big, lasting transformations. Stick with me. This is where it all comes full circle. Transform your garden with simple, natural solutions. And just like that, we've uncovered the incredible power of baking soda in the garden. From fighting off fungal diseases and deterring pests to balancing soil pH and boosting plant growth, this simple, everyday ingredient proves that sometimes the best solutions aren't found in expensive bottles at the store, but right in your own kitchen. If you're someone who loves caring for your plants, whether it's a cozy indoor jungle, a balcony filled with herbs, or a thriving backyard garden, you now have a natural, affordable, and effective tool to keep them healthy and flourishing. No more struggling with weak plants, endless pest problems, or soil imbalances, just strong, vibrant greenery and better harvests. But here's the thing: gardening isn't just about knowing tricks and techniques. It's about experimenting, learning, and growing alongside your plants. So why not put this knowledge into action? Try one of these baking soda methods in your garden and see what happens. And when you do, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you're growing, what challenges you're facing, or even share a gardening success story. Let's build a community where we can learn from each other and grow together. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button so more people can discover these natural gardening hacks. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Earthly Delights and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new tips and tricks for keeping your garden and houseplants thriving. Remember, great gardening isn't about having a perfect green thumb. It's about using simple, smart, and sustainable methods to nurture your plants and enjoy the process. So keep experimenting, keep learning, and most importantly, keep growing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.